What Tesla had going for it, for people with too much money and too little taste, was its branding and the associated social cachet. He kind of made EVs cool, again, for certain people. But if your branding just reads as tacit support for authoritarianism, ill-conceived trade policy, callous layoffs, the people who want that are less likely to be able to actually afford to buy that. So yeah, their sales are way down.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio,
Tumwa, Iowa.
Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Hey, it's Ashley with Status Coup. Breaking news. Elon Musk proves himself to be a little bitch and is fleeing the federal government to rescue his failing car company, Tesla. I cannot say that I'm not kind of delighted to hear this. I guess being the face of this ghoulish, shadowy effort to dismantle the federal government and lay off hundreds of thousands of federal workers isn't really a great branding strategy. Who could have foreseen such an outcome? Especially when the people buying your aesthetically offensive product are the very same people who are going to be, at least in show, big mad about this. The very well-to-do liberals who pretend to care about climate change enough to buy one of your flimsy cars are your market, Elon. And now that Teslas and your Minecraft trucks are basically a mobile ad for support of fascism, they don't want to buy them anymore. Again, who with their working brains could have foreseen such an outcome? Politico wrote in a piece from yesterday afternoon that I'm going to share with you guys. So here are more details on this. This is the Politico piece. Musk stepping back from government work amid plummeting Tesla sales. Elon Musk said in an early earnings call Tuesday that he will turn more of his attention to Tesla starting next month. So the piece goes on to say, Elon Musk said on an earnings call Tuesday that he plans to devote more of his attention to running his electric vehicle company Tesla, which reported a stark drop in sales and revenues for the first quarter of the year amid pervasive concerns about the impacts of tariffs and Musk's own role in shaping the government. Tesla's total revenue from car sales dipped 20% and net income fell an astonishing 71% during the first quarter of 2025, the company announced Tuesday. On an earnings call with investors, Musk said, starting next month, I will be allocating more of my time to Tesla and that he will continue to spend a day or two on government matters as long as President Donald Trump wants. Elon Musk, if you're watching Status Coup, I'm sorry. Did this brazen bid for power not really work out for you? I guess this whole working remote thing isn't really for everybody. I think you must have spent too much time golfing and pressuring women on social media to have your babies and palling around with your fascist buddies, and too little time actually working in the office. A sales drop of 20% is quite a lot, and a 71% fall in net income over one quarter is really fucking embarrassing. It's okay to admit when you've royally fucked up and quit and leave us all the fuck alone. And just a quick aside on Elon and his desire to start a country made only with his own DNA. This is from a Vanity Fair piece from, I believe, last week. So it reads, Elon Musk has solicited women to have his babies on X, shelled out millions of dollars to keep the mothers of his many kids quiet, and talked privately about wanting to sire legion-level numbers of children before the apocalypse. That's according to an extensive new report from the Wall Street Journal, which details how the baby-making billionaire keeps his brood of at least 14 children and the women who birthed them in check. So again, I'm not wading any deeper into that insanity right now because it's too much. But so back onto Tesla, which Elon clearly should have been spending more time thinking about and maybe less time worrying about fathering thousands of children before the apocalypse, when so many people are fucking struggling, many of whom are struggling as a direct result of his utterly bizarre stupidity and psychopathy, like again, the mass layoffs of hundreds of thousands of workers as directed by his pet project, Doge. And on his BFF Trump's tariffs, or soon to be former BFF, he had this to say.
I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision. I've been on the record many times as saying that I believe lower tariffs are generally a good idea for prosperity. But this decision is fundamentally up to the elected representative of the people, being the President of the United States. So, I'll continue to advocate for lower tariffs rather than higher tariffs, but that's all I can do.
Yeah, so it is up to the elected representative of the people and not people who have bought themselves into power and not actually been elected by anyone. So Musk here is simultaneously distancing himself from the disastrous trade policy of the Trump administration, which I'm sure Trump does not appreciate, so that he can resuscitate Tesla, and that kind of fucking sucks. Unless Musk is completely severed from Tesla, I cannot imagine that the company rebounds from this. The cars suck and are ugly. What Tesla had going for it, for people with too much money and too little taste, was its branding and the associated social cachet. He kind of made EVs cool, again, for certain people. But if your branding just reads as tacit support for authoritarianism, ill-conceived trade policy, callous layoffs, insatiable need for tax cuts and corporate handouts, and meddling with the NLRB to help with your own cases and occupational predilection for union busting, the people who want that are less likely to be able to actually afford to buy that. So yeah, their sales are way down. So more from this Politico piece. Musk didn't directly address any implications about whether his involvement with spearheading steep cuts to the federal workforce and deploying his Doge data teams throughout the government impacted his company's sales or his decision to step back from his role with Doge, though he said, "There's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government with Doge." Tesla's total revenue dropped to 19.3 billion, a 9% dip over the first quarter of 2024. A precipitous drop, Tesla said, was partially due to a decline in vehicle deliveries and a reduction in how much its cars are selling for, according to data released ahead of an earnings call later Tuesday. The company's operating income fell 66% to 0.4 billion. And I like the really cowardly and evasive way that Musk phrased that. "There's been some blowback for the time that I've been spending in government." Indeed, there has been some blowback. Here is some of that blowback that was caught on video recently.
What the? We don't want you. Wait, but what are they? What is this? Whoa! What the hell? Wait, what is this? What the hell? What do we get a mouth on? Wait, what are you doing to this guy?
My name's Frankie, and I'm getting arrested today protesting Elon Musk. He bought his way into office. He bought his way into heading a government agency. He bought his power at the expense of the American people, at the expense of our environment, at the expense of our world, and all of the people in it.
I, for one, am hoping that at the very least, Musk's reputation and Tesla do not recover, because I'm pretty fucking sure that the workers that have lost their jobs and livelihoods at Musk's behest probably will not. And they don't have billions to fall back on in hard times. A majority of Americans don't have enough in savings to weather one emergency, let alone any kind of indefinite unemployment. So good riddance to Musk, and hopefully Tesla, you will not be missed. But for those watching, don't forget that Doge, the monster that he's created, is still going strong, and we still need to organize against it and everything that it stands for. So thank you for watching, and please like, follow, and subscribe to Status Coup News. And please, if you can, do consider becoming a paid member for as little as $5 a month so that we can keep bringing you on-the-ground reporting that the corporate media doesn't cover. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.